Guys, there's a lot going on. Saturday night's main event, Clash in Italy, Double or Nothing. Let's dig into it.
Oh, and I've got to tell you all about World Series Wrestling in Melbourne and some of the great interviews that we're going to be releasing in the coming weeks.
Plus, guys, Haven joins us for a chat this week. How good?
It's episode 36 of That Sweet Pop, and it's starting right now. Hello everyone, I'm Dion McCracken, he is Brad Lewis, she is Courtney Coburn, and yes, there is a lot going on in the world of professional wrestling. There always is, but it feels like this is a real busy week. Let's get into it. But guys, this feels like the first time we've gotten together for a couple of weeks. I'm out of the loop. What's going on? Brad, you must be pumped about Auckland FC winning the grand final last night, and by pumped, I mean seedy.
Up the port. It was a great night. Now I apologize for the voice. There was a lot of screaming going on last night at Go Media Stadium out there in South Auckland. What an amazing sporting experience. I had a rugby-loving friend of mine message me this morning, and he said, hands down, that is the best atmosphere I have ever experienced at a New Zealand sporting event.
Wow.
So big ups to Auckland FC. They are the A-League champions. A lot of alcohol was consumed by Brad Lewis yesterday afternoon and evening. But I was smart enough to not drink and drive, left my car in the city, and went and picked it up this morning. So that is a message to all of you out there. Make good decisions. But yeah, I'm on a real high, guys. And obviously, got to watch wrestling this morning, which was awesome. And I'm pumped to talk about it. And we've got wrestling tomorrow as well, and the Indy 500. So it's a very, very big sporting weekend for me.
Yeah. Everyone knows as well, celebratory beers are the best kind of beers. Second only to free beer. Free beer is the best beer. Court, how's everything going in your world?
Yeah, look, not too bad. I think it's just, coming off that high of Saturday night's main event. Lots to talk about. A lot has happened from Saturday night's main event that's having implications into Clash in Italy next weekend. Quite a bit happened on Raw this week and SmackDown that's leading into that. So just catching up with everything, and honestly can't wait to sit down and have this chat with you guys and see how you're feeling about, the events to come.
I was in Melbourne last week, as you know, for Rise Against, the World Series Wrestling show. Great weekend of wrestling, and just as good, I got to catch up with some good friends that I hadn't seen in quite some time, and even met some new friends, which was cool. I ran into Courtney and Riley from Rock and Wrestling Reviews, the mum and dad of Aussie wrestling, as they call themselves. Check them out on TikTok if you haven't already. They do a lot of really fun content. They were at WrestleMania this year. They're big supporters of local wrestling in Australia. They popped along to Melbourne City Wrestling last night, I understand. It was really lovely to meet them. They loved WSW, as did I. A couple of tremendous shows in Melbourne. Guys, the talent on this tour was so good. And they were having a lot of fun. I don't know if you've seen any of the stuff on socials, but they were having a lot of fun. The production is legitimately world-class. We're in for something pretty special here in October. So as we know, Mega Mania is coming to Auckland Thursday, October 29. Tickets are available now. You got to get onto these tickets. You've got to be here for this live event. It's going to be absolutely outstanding. Now, we conducted a few interviews over the course of that weekend. We've released our Nick Nemeth interview, which has had some really good pickup around the globe, actually. He is such a pro. He is such a pro and a super lovely human being.
And the newest fan of Whitaker's chocolate.
I was going to ask what flavor's his favourite.
Yeah.
Well, as it turns out, Nick and I have something in common. I can call him Nick because we shared chocolate, the Whitaker's creamy milk. But if you do watch the interview, you'll notice I didn't prep him for how tricky those little bars can be to open. But he was up for the creamy milk and not the peanut slab. But while I was doing that, you two had an opportunity to chat to Ash by Elegance, who was a big part of the WSW tour. Court, how was Ash?
Oh, she was fantastic. She was everything we could have hoped for and more. You see these people having other interviews and you see them on the screen and you think to yourself, I wonder what that person's like to talk to. And she was nothing but professional and really responded well to questions that we asked. And all in all, you could just see the passion that she has for what she does. And I think that she is definitely one of those talents that you see someone like her and go, she really deserves that spot that she has right now. And she's doing amazing things.
Yeah. And Brad, you've spoken with so many sports people over the years throughout your sports journalism career. I kind of get the feeling that that Ash by Elegance was one of those people who would have even impressed a seasoned veteran like yourself. She spoke so well.
Oh yeah, the former Dana Brooke, of course, from her WWE days. What an absolute pro. Wrestlers are such great what we call talent in the business, right? Like, I mean, you got that with Nick. That was a tremendous interview, Mr. McCracken. And yeah, Ash was fantastic. She said some really interesting things that I think will surprise a lot of people. But I think in general, she is a great example of the grass can be greener. And for those people that have recently suffered professional cuts in terms of WWE talent, she's a shining example, along with the Matt Cardonas, the Cody Rhodes, the Killer Crosses of the world, the Steph DeLanders of the world, that there is life after the big machine. And man, she has turned herself into one of the top probably 20 female talents on the planet.
Yeah, she really has. I also had the opportunity to speak with the Good Brothers, and they are indeed good. So we talked about Japan, AJ Styles, Wrestling Brotherhood, the state of tag team wrestling, and a lot more. Again, we'll release that in the coming weeks, as we will the Ash by Elegance interview. But guys, we've interviewed a lot of big name wrestlers in the past. We have interviewed reigning and former world heavyweight champions, but there are a few interviews where I get as excited as I am for this one. Because joining us right now, live and in studio, well, over the internet, is Ringside with Haven and Dad Aidan. Hey, guys.
How's it going, guys?
How you doing, Haven?
Good.
I like your shirt a lot. I've just noticed that it's the exact same as Quartz. Very interesting. Hey, Haven, how long have you been into wrestling? When did you first start watching wrestling?
Probably WrestleMania 40, eh?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's a good one.
I've been watching it for about 2 years.
2-3 years, yeah.
Wow.
And was that obviously Cody finishing his story? Was that a big part of that
Yeah.
for you? And I think was Rhea and Becky Lynch was on that card too. That must have been. Are those sort of your favorites? Is that what got you hooked? Because I imagine Dad was a big fan as well.
Yeah, I was already a big fan, and it was the Cody Rock story was something different. And that was when I would watch Raw after work anyway, and then it became every Tuesday, like, Dad, are we watching Raw when I pick her up from school? And
wow.
Like, okay, now there's something that's caught on here, yeah.
So cool.
Hey, Aidan, how did you get the idea for starting Ringside with Haven?
We always make videos anyway, whether we're making videos for like just having fun or business stuff. So I just thought it would be cool to see wrestling through the lens of like an 8-year-old girl as well. Like, and especially with like the rise of women's wrestling and how popular it is and how great it is. I was like, it's cool to actually see other fans, especially in like a small country, New Zealand. So I thought, why not just capture it through her eyes? And then one day I can also just go back and like watch it all along as well and have those memories too. So
yeah, must be pretty cool to be able to share this with your daughter.
Yeah, it is. It's a cool little thing, eh?
Hey, Haven, who's your favorite wrestler?
Probably Rhea Ripley.
That was a silly question.
She knows ball. Haven knows ball. She knows.
And I understand you're heading up to Auckland for Mega Mania in October.
Yeah.
Yeah, are you looking forward to it? What are you looking forward to the most? Is it the junk food on the road trip? I think I'd be looking forward to the junk food on the road trip. Yeah.
Airplane.
That'll be very cool. What about the wrestlers that are going to be there? Are you looking forward to any?
Or is that Scarlett?
Scarlett. That's a Scarlett. Yeah. Scarlett's amazing.
You might just get a chance to meet her, I reckon.
Yeah, I'm probably going to see her at the meet and greet because I'm going to make a bracelet for her.
Oh,
she'll love that. She will. She'll love that. Wrestlers always love getting the bracelets. So definitely make sure you make one for her and make one for Carrion too so they can have matching bracelets.
Yeah, I am.
Do you want to tell them your plan once Buddy comes?
Yeah, so if Buddy comes to Mega Mania, I'm going to make a friendship bracelet for him and also Rhea so he can maybe give it to Rhea.
Oh, that's very sweet. I'm sure he would definitely do that. That would be
so
super
cool.
You would be able to give him one to give to her as well. That would be very cool.
What do you think you'd say if you met Rhea Ripley?
Uh-oh.
I don't know.
You'd
Dion,
be
there'd be no
as I
words.
know,
We know this.
you'd be as mushy as Court if she meets Rhea Ripley. That's what you'd be like.
We could maybe meet her together. Maybe.
Yeah.
We'll make it
Oh,
happen.
that'd be pretty cool.
Mm.
Hey, Haven, have you got any questions for Courtney? I know you watch her on TikTok as well. Is there anything you've ever wanted to ask her?
No.
I bet there is.
I think so.
That's okay. I do have a question for you though, Haven. Who's your favorite champion at the moment? Apart from Rhea, of course.
Would it be Cody probably at the moment?
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably just the standard ones.
Nice.
But maybe, hopefully, Jacob Fatu does a job next week. Wouldn't mind seeing that.
So Haven, would it be fair to say that you do not acknowledge your tribal chief?
No, I get my dad to acknowledge him. I'm like, Dad, put your hand up.
And what is it about Rhea Ripley that you really, really like?
I just think she's really cool and I like her style.
Yeah, she is really cool. Well, it's been so nice talking to you, Haven. And again, people can see you and Dad on TikTok, right? On Ringside with Haven. I've got one last question for you, though. What is it that you enjoy most about filming videos with Dad for TikTok?
Yeah.
What do you like the most?
That you get to be his boss.
Yeah.
What? You get to be his boss? That is so cool.
She says,
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not the star of the show.
she is the special counsel. She is the oracle of Ringside with Haven.
Yeah,
She actually has
sure
been
is.
working quite hard when we're doing reactions. She'll be like, "Is that one up yet?" And I'll be like, "We literally just filmed it like 3 minutes ago."
Yeah, come on, Dad.
It's
Sort
a
it
hard
out.
job that no one sees.
Be faster, Dad. Hey, Haven.
Try.
All right, it's been so good talking to you too. And again, on TikTok, Ringside with Haven, check them out, give them a follow, and who knows, we might see a video one of these days of Haven meeting Rhea Ripley. How cool would that be? Be very cool.
That would be very cool.
Yeah. All right, thanks for joining us, you two. See you later, eh? Bye.
Great.
Bye.
Thanks, guys.
Bye, Haven.
Thanks, heaps.
Bye.
Oh, well, that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool getting to chat with Haven, and we're looking forward to seeing her in Auckland for Mega Mania. Let's get into Saturday night's main event. But before we do, I have a gripe.
Uh-oh.
I come with a gripe.
Uh-oh.
Can we please stop calling it Saturday night main event? It is Saturday night's main event. Nights as in the possessive noun, as in Saturday night owns the main event. And I know we're used to Monday night Raw and Friday night SmackDown, but it is Saturday night's main event. And when you've got talent and when you've got I'm sorry, I know the world has much greater problems than this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm calm. I'm relaxed.
Are you though? Do
I'm
you
okay.
feel him, sir?
You're so
Do you
not.
feel him, sir?
I'm okay. All right, Saturday night's main event. Possessive noun. Wade Barrett on the call with Michael Cole. And this is the first time when the light bulb hit me that Wade Barrett is the color guy in WWE now. I know he's been the guy for some time, but it feels like there's no close second to him. He's so good. Brad, your thoughts on Wade as the color guy?
Look, Jesse the Body Ventura is the greatest color man in the history of pro wrestling commentary. Wade's very good. I like Corey as well. I think if you get a chance to watch AAA, Corey's actually an excellent play-by-play announcer as well. But I think that Cole and Barrett have really worked in their relationship well. Like, I think Cole and Corey is probably still technically a better team. But what I love about Wade is sometimes I think Corey's heelish stuff comes across as a bit cringe and forced, whereas we know what Wade Barrett was like as the character Wade Barrett, and he was a heel for the most part, and he actually defends the heels in the way that I used to love the way Jesse the Body Ventura used to defend the heels. Like,
Yeah.
Like, this is an injustice to Becky Lynch, an injustice, and I love that stuff, and it doesn't seem forced. It just seems like Wade Barrett. So I really dig what he's become. And you know what I love, guys? 2-man commentary teams.
Yes.
Two-man commentary teams is where they should all be. WWE certainly seems to have landed in that realm of two-man commentary teams after running with three men for so long. So, the best commentary teams of all time, guys, Gorilla and Jesse, JR and Jim
King.
Ross, Gorilla and Bobby Heenan, and now, we've got good ones in WWE as well.
What about you, Court? Are you Team Wade or are you Team Corey? Or I like them both. I don't mind who's on the call.
I like them both. I really don't mind, but I am partial more to Wade Barrett, as Brad said. I feel like it's less about believing the call, but for me, you can just tell, like, he's not only a fan of watching it and calling it, but you can just see his personality really shining through in what he's saying. And as you said before, Brad, with the example of Becky Lynch, I'm sure we're going to get into that at some point. It was an incredible injustice. And I mean,
Yeah.
Wade is very good at calling that out, and I really like his style of commentary. And if he's on more calls with Michael Cole moving forward, I'm not complaining by any means.
He's just getting better and better. So Saturday night's main event, 5 matches on the card. The show was okay. I mean, it wasn't bad. It just felt like it was there. I just don't see this match being something we're going to watch footage of in years and years to come in packages. It was like a means to an end kind of show, as Saturday night's main event often is. But this opener was great. I really liked Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair against Jade, Fab and Michin, who looked like a real unit too, those three. And Fab and Michin really needed Jade, right? Not tonight, but in the last few months, and possibly to save their career, because they were doing not much of anything. And now it feels like, and notwithstanding there's fatal influence there now, that they're a real force on SmackDown. So really good opener, a good preview of Rhea versus Jade. I liked the tension between Rhea and Charlotte, and what I loved most was the finish. I thought the finish was a master stroke. The celebration of friendship, which led to Jade hitting the pump kick and getting the win. And that gives Rhea and Charlotte some more fodder for future tension whilst setting up Clash in Italy. What did you think of this one, Court?
A fantastic opener. Honestly, I think if this match wasn't going to main event, I do think putting it as the opening match was the right decision. And as you've said, it was mostly about storytelling and about teasing what we're going to get in the future, right? Like we, at the beginning of the match, could see that Rhea and Charlotte still kind of weren't really on the same page, and it had me questioning, are we going to see them have some communication issues, and then maybe we might see a future match between them? But by the end of it, all 3 ladies in the babyface team managed to, come onto a common path and be able to, work together. But they spent too long embracing that friendship and kind of forgot what that main goal was in mind, which was to take down Jade and her faction. Really enjoyed the teasers with Charlotte and Jade as well. That was obviously a match that we probably could have had as a WrestleMania match for the women's title, but we unfortunately didn't get that just due to scheduling changes and Rhea winning Elimination Chamber. But I think that's definitely also put in the Easter eggs for a future match with those two. Really enjoyed the cohesion, not only in the ring gear with Jade and her faction. I could tell it was very Michael Jackson inspired, but you could just tell that they were really working off of each other. And Michin and Fab, while they don't get much time in the ring on an individual basis, they all played a part in this match that really helped to not only tell the story, but push storyline into the future. Definitely has me really excited with what's going on with Jade and Rhea. Next week at Clash in Italy, Rhea took the pin from Jade. So this match, I think, is a means to an end for those two. Really helps Jade to look strong in her rematch for the Women's Championship against Rhea next week.
Brad?
Agree with everything Court said. Just one little segue, brickbat for WWE. I think they missed a golden opportunity. You talked about how this card was kind of just there. It was good without being outstanding. Why not showcase Liv Morgan in the main event on this card? Find her a match. Io Sky's on Raw. You could have done that. You could chuck anyone in there and give Liv Morgan that high profile main event slot against anyone on the Raw roster, like anyone. I don't care who. It could have been anyone. That being said, this match was excellent. I think it was the second best match of the night. We'll get to what I thought was the best match of the night a little bit later on. I really love that WWE is playing an extremely slow burn on Charlotte Flair versus Jade Cargill, because they did not get physical in this match at all, but they teased it. And I think that has the potential to be a humongous match, potentially at SummerSlam. If this Jade Rhea stuff goes where I think it might end up going, which is a best of sort of 3 situation potentially. But yeah, really enjoyed the match. Alexa is really good, guys. Like, I don't think she gets the credit she deserves. Like, her facials and her charisma and her actual general in-ring work, she really is excellent. And I think because she's been out of the world title picture for almost a decade, which is crazy because I saw her in New Orleans when she dropped the title to Nia Jax, I think it was, and that was, and she hasn't really been in the world title picture since, apart from a cup of coffee with Ronda Rousey, I think. So, I think she's fantastic and really enjoyed everything she did in this match. Thought Michin looked really good as well. They had to win, guys. Let's be honest. The baddies had to win. And I gotta say that Jade's finish looked so awesome. The way Rhea took that, like that finishes off anybody. And Rhea gave a lot to Jade with that finish. Gave her a lot. So, and I think Jade gave Rhea a lot when she took her finish as well, and then obviously Michin's interference. But I thought this match was superbly produced. It was entertaining. It was fun. The ring work was nigh on perfect. And Jade continues to get better. She does. She continues to get better, and she's working with some of the best girls in pro wrestling, so she's going to get better. And I'm intrigued by their rematch. I really am. I don't know how I feel about Jade losing clean, if that's where they're going. I do think that this could be heading for a sort of like maybe Jade wins by DQ in Italy, and then we head to some sort of Hell in a Cell or violent fight to end the feud. And I think Jade's going to win this feud and I think we're building towards Charlotte and Jade down the line. But really enjoyed this. A great opener. Great opener.
Yeah, and to your point about, maybe there could have been a spot for Liv on the show, completely agree, but you could also insert 12 other wrestlers on this one, right? But what I like about Saturday night's main event, it kind of feels, Brad, to me like a UFC fight night compared to like a UFC numbered pay-per-view. And we've got these overlapping major television events, PLEs or Saturday night's main event or whatever other TV specials. I do like that, even though Saturday night's main event, it seems to be still quite a seasonal kind of thing. Hey, so next match was Becky Lynch and Sol Ruka. Boy, are they dragging out this Jessica Carr stuff. And I do like it. I did watch WrestleMania Night 1. We'll talk about that another time. I watched it on Friday night, and it was interesting seeing the Jessica Carr stuff up close and personal, hearing what was going on in the ring, which of course you couldn't from the 100 section. I don't know when they're going to pull the trigger on this inevitable, Becky versus Jessica stuff, and whether it'll be Jessica or Calix, who of course is Carr under a mask in Evolve. The match ended when Becky pulled Carr in front of a Soul Snatcher, which is a disappointing ending from a wrestling contest point of view. But again, in a storytelling arc, it makes complete sense. We now know that these two are going to go on to clash in Italy for the IC Championship. Fantastic. And it gives a little bit more in the lore of Becky and Carr. Brad, your thoughts on this whole Becky-Jessica stuff and the fact that it is playing out for quite some time? Do you like it?
Yeah, I'll keep this relatively quick. I do. I just don't know where it's going. I think the most important thing in here is that we make Sol Ruka because she oozes charisma. Like she did that. They did those opening shots and she looked amazing. She looked gorgeous and she just looked like an absolute bona fide top of the notch superstar. And she looks great in the ring. She does have a finish that she's probably going to botch from time to time, but if she's got the mental capacity to get over that, who really cares? And I know you guys hate that word, but it's one of the best finishes in pro wrestling. So, and she nails it 99 times out of 99. But yeah, I enjoyed this, but I love my storytelling, guys, and I just think this was your bona fide storytelling match to get you to the next place, and that's exactly what it was. I hope Sol Ruka is not the third wheel in this, and that and I think you can just continue to slow burn this Jessica Carr stuff for as long as you want, Dion, and just like my one cool point out of this that I really enjoyed was Michael Cole, the bell rings, and Michael Cole said, "Oh, look who the referee," and Wade Wade Barrett's like, no, it's that cheating Jessica Carr again. This is a travesty.
My reaction as well.
This is a
That was
travesty.
my
And I was like, yes, Wade, that's so awesome. So
And look,
yeah.
clearly she's
And-
going to be refereeing this Intercontinental Championship match, right? So
Yes.
there's an argument
maybe.
that she could cost Becky the championship. Becky and Jessica go off to do something. Sol begins her Intercontinental Championship run. Could happen.
One thing before I hand over to Court that I really liked about the show was the production. Take away the ads. They had backstage interviews.
Mhm.
And I really also loved Becky's walk and talk before she came out. I thought that was really, really cool. So
Yeah.
I think from a production standpoint, and I know this is different because it was on YouTube and I think it was on Peacock in the US maybe, but I really liked that aspect of it. I thought that was really cool. Like they're listening to the criticism a little bit, and we want more backstage interviews. We want some walk and talks.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
that was a big bouquet to WWE tonight.
Yeah, and I don't know if you know this, Brad, but we've got the actual official trademarked copyrighted Becky Lynch girl right here in our midst. So if you want to get to the source of truth onto whether this was a screw job on Becky Lynch or not, here's your girl. Court.
And it's not just that sweet pop saying it.
Everybody's saying it. New Zealand Herald's saying it.
Stop.
Sport
Nation.
Nation saying it.
Stop
Yeah.
gassing me up. Stop. That still sticks with me to this day. I still have people putting that in the comment section of my videos being like, this you? Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. It sure is. Yeah, look, I don't want to bring the Montreal screwjob into this, but I'm starting to get
Wow.
the feeling that this is a plan. This is a conspiracy theory that I have.
Becky
Every single
screwed
match
Becky.
that she is in, it's always that same goddamn referee every single time. Like, we see the roster of referees that are out there. This is definitely not a coincidence. This is definitely long-term storytelling for Becky and Jessica Carr. Book it for SummerSlam. I think that could be great. And it would give them plenty of time to continue to tell the story. Going back to the Saturday night's main event match, really enjoyed Sol Ruka's kind of interview before she went out there. Really gave us a chance to kind of hear some trash talk from her about, you know, how she's feeling about Becky and about this match. Becky's walkout from that locker room, absolutely fantastic. Can we please do more of those in the future? She looked really tough coming out, yapping about how she's the greatest women's wrestler of all time. And it's not just her saying it, other people are saying it, everybody's saying it. Sports Illustrated says it, the Bleacher Report says it, ESPN says it, That's What Pop says it. Lots of people say it, Dion. I don't know if you know, but lots of people say it. Yeah, look, this match means to an end. I think we kind of had a feeling going into it that this might be used as the vehicle for a future match. And there's a lot of confusion earlier on in the week if this was for the title, if it wasn't for the title, and eventually it got confirmed it wasn't for the title. But I mean, we know that they're going to go have a match at Clash in Italy next week.
Which is
Nick
probably
Aldis
why
confirmed it.
Probably why this wasn't for the title. You think they maybe they've pushed a potential title change? I'm sorry to say, Court.
Yep.
Maybe they've pushed it
Oh,
out
I'm
to
fine
Italy.
with it. I'm fine with it. I've come to terms with it. I've cried on my pillow a couple of times
Yeah.
about it,
Are
but
you
I've
though?
come to terms with this.
Are you fine with it?
Don't ask me next week, though. Going back to the match, though, I really enjoyed it. I think Becky Lynch came into this kind of being that cocky heel that we all know her to be and that we love her as character-wise. Maybe I think she felt as though she was a little bit intimidated by Sol and how she feels that she comes into the ring and the moveset. Maybe Becky wanted to cut that match short because she's like, I don't really want to know fully well what Sol's actually going to do to me. And I think we only got to see this small amount of Sol's moveset. We know fully well there's this much more underneath the surface. And if you give them a chance to have that match next week, it's really going to prove it. Very much looking forward to it next week. And yeah, there could be a potential title change, but if it helps to build Sol up, like Brad said, that's the best thing for Sol Ruka, right?
Yeah, and WWE, right? From there, we go back to back with championship matches, Penta and Ethan Page. And boy, you talk about styles make fights. I thought these two gelled so well together. Ethan Page, he's going to be a huge star, this guy. He really, really is. I enjoyed this match. I thought it was really good. I like how the exposed turnbuckle then worked against Page for the end of the match. What are your thoughts on this one, Court? Are you happy that Penta retained? Do you want to see him with the championship for a bit longer, or did you feel like Page's time is now?
I feel like we are building to Page's time is now. I feel like we've had Penta as champ and he's been doing a great job, and I genuinely wouldn't mind him staying the Intercontinental Champion. But when you have somebody in the conversation who has as much superstar potential as Ethan Page, it really makes you question, was this the right time to have a shocking title change, as there was, spoiler, none on the Saturday night's main event card, or should we keep the story moving forward? I do think if you had have changed the titles and put it on Ethan Page, it would have been a really shocking moment, but also a talking conversational point that Penta could have obviously gone ahead and said, well, he used the turnbuckle against me. Obviously, that would then warrant a rematch. My only thing was, going into this match, would we see Javon and Rusev in this match,
yes.
considering they've kind of been in the orbit of it? Didn't see those guys, which is fine. Just makes me question, how soon after this match is Ethan Page going to get another opportunity, and when's he going to get some title gold around his waist? But I enjoyed it. I thought they worked really well together. Ethan Page really proved himself in that spot and deserving to be in the mid-card title scene.
Yeah, what about you, Brad?
Have had Ethan Page pegged for this sort of run from the time he became North American champ in NXT, he's arguably the greatest North American champ that NXT's ever seen in terms of what he did for that championship to boost it up. And it's interesting, if I said to you guys a year ago, who's probably going to be a bigger star in WWE, Ethan Page or Ricky Saints, I think a lot of people might have lent towards Ricky Saints because of his charisma, his obviously his friendship with Cody and his in-ring ability. But I think Ethan Page is the total package. I think he's deceptively big as well. And I think even Michael Cole might have made that comment during commentary. And his moveset's outstanding. His facial reactions, the frustration that was on his face when he was throwing everything at Penta. And there was that top rope avalanche move, which was awesome. And didn't get the 3 count. The near falls in this match. Penta's really good at the near fall stuff, which was cool. But there was some little psychology things that I love, guys. Like Ethan had him down for a pin, and then he put his hands on Penta's shoulders to prevent him from lifting the shoulders up, which I think is the little things that in pro wrestling, like, I think a lot of people might miss, but those are the things that show you that, like, so he's thinking about that sort of stuff. And he's a hell of a promo. He's a great worker. He's going to be a tremendous heel champion of some description when he wins the title, whatever title it is. I'm just in a really weird phase because I think Penta is a great champion.
Yeah.
He's a fighting champion. He has got himself organically over without being able to speak English well. Speaks it good. Like I mean, that's probably unfair. He speaks English to a degree, but he's got himself over because his entrance and then his in-ring work, right? And his connection with the fans. And he's such a great champion. It feels like it's Ethan Page's time, but it doesn't feel like it's time for Penta to not be champion anymore. So I don't know where I sit on that, because I think Penta can still thrive without the title, but I don't know if now is quite the time. Maybe Ethan just needs to scrap a bit more to get there. And we'll see if Rusev is going to be in this story moving forward. Obviously, Javon Evans is part of that as well. And I think we're probably destined for some sort of fatal 4-way at some point. But yeah, it just doesn't quite feel like the right time to take the title off Penta, because he's been such an awesome champ, coming off a great reign, although it was in 2 parts, from Dom Mysterio.
I don't know that Penta would thrive, without this championship. Of course, he wouldn't drop off the face of the planet would he lose, but I think he gets so much out of being the reigning champion. I don't know. I worry for him a little bit if he was to lose when he loses the title. I don't know what it is. I don't have that feeling about other superstars. I don't know if it is the language barrier and whether the championship is making up for it or what. But I'm a huge fan of Penta, and I'm hoping to see him have this championship for quite some time.
Question for both of you. Can you see Penta as a world champion in the mold of a Rey Mysterio? Like, Rey's English has been perfecto from the start, but I can kind of see Penta win, and I think he's going to win the mega championship off Dom probably at some point. But could you see him holding like the WWE or World Heavyweight Championship in the future? I kind of think I can.
Yeah,
I mean, look, look at Steph Fakir, and from a language barrier point of view, you look at smaller wrestlers like a Rey Mysterio, as you mentioned, who won the World Heavyweight Championship. I think anyone can be world champion. I really do.
Yeah.
And who knows? We might see heel Penta with Paul Heyman by his side to take him to the World Championship. And he's been a bad guy
in the past as well, a really good one at that.
Yeah. Court, you think so as well?
I do. I don't think right now but I do think long-term wise, we could see something happen where he does become champion. I just think there's a couple of guys on the roster first that I do want to see fall into that position. Not to say Penta's definitely not deserving of it, because I absolutely agree he is. I just think right now I've got a couple of other people who I'd like to see have that opportunity first. And then maybe if there's somebody who is in the world title scene that you can see Penta dethroning, then you'd be like, yeah, that's his time, right? I feel like with that IC match, if we quickly just go back to that, I feel like that's the perfect storm, right? You have somebody who is a really good champion and you want to see them continue that championship reign, but then you have someone come in like Ethan and you're like, that's the perfect person to dethrone. And so regardless of whatever way WWE went about it with this match, there are going to be people that are going to be happy or sad. I feel like it's just one of those situations where you just can't have it both ways. Do you guys kind of understand where I'm coming from?
Absolutely. And as we've said in the past, not everyone can be world champion. And the problem with the discussion that we will have in the future about this period, and that we do have in the period and the present about the past period, not everyone can hold the strap. So it's often an unfair discussion of, WWE dropped the ball because Mr. Perfect should have been world champion. I mean, he should have. But there are so many that are like that. In that period, you're ravishing Rick Rude's $1 Million Man. He had his little period with the fake championship run. But
the Red
just
Rooster.
Not everyone can. Well.
Yeah.
Hey, just one thing before we move on. I think the card peaked in this match.
Yes.
I think it was the best match of the night. And I think in reflection, this should have gone on last.
It was meant to.
Was it?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Did not know that. So yeah,
I
feel like
they were advertising it earlier on in the week as it being the main event.
Yeah.
And then it changed.
Oh,
Just like the Becky Soul thing. So there's clearly been some changes along the way.
Yeah.
And look, we don't know these things until they either get announced to us by commentary, and then things change along the way. And then when the actual event's happening, then that's when you know. But I do really think this would have actually benefited from being the main event.
I agree, and send the fans home happy as well. Like in reflection, I just think this would have been better placed as the main event, but that's just a small criticism because the main event wasn't terrible. I just think the Intercontinental title just means more to me than Logan Paul and Austin Theory as tag champs.
Yeah. Well, let's touch on these last two matches. First, Brie Bella and Paige successfully defending the Women's Tag Team Championship against the Irresistible Forces. Brie Bella, I saw a post on her Insta which showed her training with some pretty intense, a pretty intense wrestling workout, which made me think she's taking this run really seriously.
Yeah.
So there's part of me that often thinks that these people coming back that have had a successful career in the past, that it is a nostalgia run, that it's not necessarily going to be a CM Punk run. But the fact that that she is working so damn hard, and the fact that they did retain here, maybe we're going to see Brie Bella for quite some time. Brad, what are your thoughts on Brie and Paige retaining versus the Irresistible Forces maybe picking up their title?
Yeah, I was kind of leaning towards the Irresistible Forces to win the titles that I thought they should probably not have lost in the first place, but I get why that happened. I don't know. Are you kind of like me and just waiting for the heel turn from Brie Bella on Paige at some point? Like it kind of feels that's destined, and the only reason they haven't pulled the trigger on it yet is because it would have repeated the Lyra Valkyria Becky stuff from last year.
Yeah.
But like I think Paige is too cool to turn heel. So like I don't know. Like I guess we'll see how that plays out. I kind of feel like Paige has lost a bit of momentum from her return, just been stuck in this tag team. That's just how I feel. I don't know
if happens
I'm
though.
on.
It happens to everyone, right? 2 months into it, and all of a sudden it's like, well, they're still here, which is great, but you can't stay that peak.
But like the promo they cut out the back was great. Paige super believable and believe in her own ability, which I love. She looks fantastic, guys. Like for a talent that thought her career was over, and I know she had a run in AEW for a couple of years as Saraya, where she was excellent, won a world title there, and turned Jamie Hayter into a star and Toni Storm with some of the stuff she was doing with her. But it just kind of feels like we're just waiting for something to happen with Nikki and Brie turning on Paige down the line. Like I don't know, that's just kind of where I feel we're in a placeholder position at the moment. I think ultimately Raquel and Roxanne are going to win those titles.
Yeah, Court.
Yeah, look, very similarly to Brad, I had a feeling that the Irresistible Forces were potentially going to win the titles back here. But I think the really unique thing about this conversation is before the match happened, we obviously saw Kathy Kelly talking to Brie Bella and Paige, and Paige was talking quite passionately about how they're the champs, but they're considered the underdogs when it comes to going up against the irresistible forces, that being Nia Jax and Lash Legend, and how we're the champions. We shouldn't be seen as the underdogs, but we are, and we're going to continue to prove why we're really good champions and why this isn't considered a nostalgia run. And then you think about the ending of that match where Paige had rolled up Nia Jax and Brie Bella had assisted in that. Now, that doesn't really scream underdog to me. That kind of screams if we see the opportunity to not be finishing the match in a heelish way, but if we see the opportunity where we need to make sure we secure the win, we're going to do everything we can to make that happen. I wasn't, when it was in my watch along, I didn't say it was like a dirty win, but I just said, I think it's a position where that opportunity arises, you're going to take it to secure the gold if you feel threatened, right? So going back to your point, Dion and Brad, I do think that the whole turn with them is probably going to happen when Nikki is ready to come back to the ring once she's been medically cleared. We might see her hang around with the two of them for quite some time, being their manager, just being their valet along the side of the ring, until Nikki gets to a point where the fact that her WrestleMania moment, the potential win that she could have had with her sister, it all kind of festers inside, and then we see that turn happen. And Brie aligns with Nikki because Paige might have just been seen as a placeholder in that situation with the tag titles at Mania.
And one thing, Dion, before we get your comments, I think we should give some credit to Nia here. This is the best condition she's been in her career. She looks fantastic. And I think there's another monster heel singles run in Nia Jax in this form. I mean, she was on a podcast recently when this is the lightest she's been in her career, and she looks amazing, and she's clearly taking this really seriously. And that finish that they do, which is, I guess, a tribute to Demolition a little bit with the leg, it's like a leg drop instead of an elbow. That is a killer tag team finish, man. That looks awesome. And I think they're a really good tag team. I really do. And I hope that the WWE doesn't push Lash too quickly and we continue to see more from these two, because I think Nia deserves it. And again, just full credit to her for the condition she's got herself in. And I guess turning the narrative a bit on the hate, because some of the hate she's got has been vomit inducing.
I completely agree with you there. I've worked with Nia Jax in the past in another life, and she is a lovely, lovely human being, and I've been very happy to watch her career progress. I have been turned off Nia after seeing her live at Survivor Series in Vancouver. That was a terrible performance by someone who's been in the business for so long, and I think since then I can't help but see the strikes which aren't strikey, and but I think her success really hinges on the next 6 months. I guess there's a part of me that wouldn't be surprised if next time there's a round of R words that maybe she's one to go. I don't want to delve too much into that, but that's my quick thoughts. Hey, tag team match, the main event of the show, Logan Paul and Austin Theory against the Street Profits. The tension again between Angelo and Montez is interesting and out of nowhere. And initially I was thinking Dawkins is going to be the Marty Jannetty of this team. But that moment where Bron Breakker came out and Dawkins just launched him into the table, I think there's something in this. That is a moment. And I said before, we're not going to be looking at something from years gone by, in years to come, sorry. This might be the moment, because it was very, very cool. The ending of the match I thought was a little bit confusing, with Angelo taking out Logan Paul and not saving his buddy, but I'm sure there's something in that. And we're going to hear from King Tez as in terms of, why were you busy here when I'm in trouble here? This is why we don't have the tag straps. I imagine it's going to go that way. What are our thoughts on this match, Court? Do you think we're going to see the tension continue between these two? Do you think there's going to be a split? Do you think we're going to see them teaming with Seth Rollins against the Vision? Any thoughts on where it might go?
Look, following Monday Night Raw this week, I think we'd seen it was abundantly clear with the Street Profits that they don't want Seth Rollins involved in their business, right? They want nothing to do with him. Seth Rollins has no friends. Seth Rollins always turns against everybody. He betrays everybody. Fake narrative to me, but that's totally fine. That's not the point. I just think maybe this match has proven to the Street Profits, especially with Bron Breakker coming out, that we might not like Seth, but it might be a situation where we have to team with him in order to take out the Vision, because we're all involved in this Vision soup, right? Like, it's a situation of, is it the enemy of my that I'm going to butcher the saying, I don't want to say it now, but it's that kind of saying of like, the enemy of my friend is, you know what I mean?
The enemy of, now I'm getting it wrong. The enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. Otherwise, I would have really cocked that one up. Yeah, I think it's a situation very similar to what we've seen with Rhea and Charlotte, right? It's kind of like, there is a greater issue here, and we probably need to put our feelings aside in order to diffuse the problem. I think we might see a bit of a team up there, and then maybe Angelo gets a bit too close to Seth, and then Tez gets a bit frustrated and the tension kind of forms. I feel like we've been teasing a Street Profits breakup for a very long time.
Yes.
And it's been a situation of will they, won't they, and who's considered the biggest star out of the group. But I just really want WWE to like execute these kind of breakups effectively, because it feels very stop-starty to me. And the thing is, when we see those moments in the match where that tension kind of peaks and comes to the surface, you can hear the crowd kind of really engaging with that. And that's oftentimes the best way to figure out if we should run with a storyline or not, is by the noise the crowd makes, because that's often the best indicator if to someone is enjoying what they're seeing or not. Like I say, I think it's going to be a situation where they team up with Seth for this, and then maybe we just see further cracks forming down the line.
What about you, Brad? Were you surprised with this result? Were you not surprised? Did you think the ending of the match saved it?
If the rumors are to be true, then around the 1st of June, we're going to see Enzo and Big Cass in the tag team division again, which I don't know how I feel about that. But that's by the by. So I have real thoughts on the Street Profits thing, and I think you can do a breakup with these two where they don't end up feuding, and they both, potentially stay babyface. Like, it can be the point where Montez just gets to that point of frustration, and he says to Dork, have we reached our peak? Do we need to go in separate directions? Like, you can play that out. They don't have to end up completely fractured to the point that one turns on the other. And although Tez has the charisma and character to be a heel, his moveset screams babyface. Everything he does is freaking awesome. And I don't think Angelo Dawkins would be a great heel. I think he's got that character where I think people could get behind him as a back. So I don't think you need to turn either. If you turn anyone heel, it's got to be Montez, right? Because I think he has the ability to be more of the Shawn Michaels than the Marty Jannetty side of things. But yeah, like the cracks are definitely forming, even in the vignette, which was before the women's tag team match. Don't know if you remember it, the Street Profits did a little vignette, and Montez sort of had Dawkins behind him and was saying, are you sure you're ready? Can I trust you? Are you sure I can trust you? And I was like, what? Like, really? So I think we're going to see a pretty frustrated Montez on Monday. And I agree, from a logic standpoint, Dawkins taking out Logan Paul was really dumb. Like, when your mate had just been sconed in the face with brass knucks, maybe he can say, I didn't see that, I thought you were fine, or something like that. I don't know how you sell that, but I don't know. Like, I don't know if we need to see a breakup of this tag team in the violent way. Remember the Dudley Boys split up at one point, and they just went their separate ways.
Reverend Devon.
Which was horrible. But a tag team that didn't break up, broke it was the APA, right? They just went to different brands, and Bradshaw turned heel much later, and never had anything with Farouk. And I just don't think you need to split these guys up to the point where they have a feud, because it could be the death of both of them, which we've seen in the past with, can I remind people about the Hardy Boys? That was horrible back in 2001, I think it was, Dion, when Matt turned heel for the first time. It was god awful.
Yeah. Well, look, there was Saturday night's main event, and like we said, it was a pretty solid show. Some pretty solid matches, but it was a professional wrestling match show that was there. I'm getting flustered because I was expecting something a little bit more, which leads us to Clash in Italy, Monday, June the 1st, 6 a.m. As Court pointed out to me, and I'm very happy about this, King's birthday. I get to watch it and not go to work on Monday, so that's fantastic. So thank you, King Charles.
Thanks, mate.
let's go through a couple of these matches just super quickly. We don't need to deep dive these too much. Number one, Roman Reigns against Jacob Fatu for the World Heavyweight Championship. Tribal combat. To me, Jacob feels more dangerous than he's ever been. And even though Roman Reigns defeated him at Backlash, I'm at the point where I think, man, how can even a Roman Reigns, someone who's seen so much success, how can he beat a Jacob Fatu at the moment? And whether tribal combat becomes the great leveler because, maybe the Usos can get involved and help Roman walk away with the win. The fact that Roman's away in June, though, also has me thinking from a booking perspective, is the time now for that title change. Court, what's your prediction? Roman versus Jacob, who's walking away with the championship?
Look, I do like Roman as champion, but I kind of just want to see everyone lose their minds to see Jacob win. There's going to be so many people who are going to lose the plot if Roman loses and Jacob wins. But I think this is kind of very much giving me a bit of reminding about the conversation we just had with Penta and Ethan Page. It's a very similar situation. It's like Jacob has never felt hotter than right now. He's never felt more dangerous. He's never felt like more of that heel that you've got no idea what he's going to do next. Yeah. And the fact that he called out Roman for tribal combat screams to me like, I know what I'm getting myself into and I can handle it. And the fact that we go back to Monday Night Raw, it took Roman, Jimmy, and Jay to take out one Jacob Fatu. It makes me very nervous as to this match, but I think we could potentially see a big upset here, and I'm totally here for it.
Can you imagine that crowd in Italy if there's a championship change there? What about you, Brad? What are you thinking, Roman or Jacob?
Yeah, first of all, Travesty Julie is not on this card, but because she's Italian, so unlucky for the audience and for her. But I honestly am befuddled because I don't know. Like it feels way too early to take the title off Roman when you had one of the greatest WrestleMania matches of all time. You had him beat CM Punk clean. I mean, that makes Jacob Fatu look even more of a badass, really, when you think about it. But tribal combat is basically like bloodline rules, right? Like where there's literally anything goes. So Jacob doesn't have any friends. Like, I mean, unless Zila Fatu signs sort of some contract that no one's heard about, which is possible. WWE loves signing Samoans. But yeah, like I certainly can't see Solo and his boys getting involved on Jacob's behalf because Jacob doesn't want that. It's interesting that it seems to be Jacob's only friend is Royce Keys. Right, like they had a couple of, and they've got that San Francisco connection. They talked about that backstage, in a SmackDown promo. But yeah, I kind of feel like this has been set up as a bridge too far for Jacob to climb. Like when the odds are completely stacked against him, where the Usos are now firmly in the corner of Roman, and it doesn't feel like the right time to take the title off Roman, but. Jacob's ready, man. He's been ready for a long time. I shared my frustrations with you 12 months ago around Jacob Fatu, Dion, and that where was he? He was nowhere for a period of time. And I was really frustrated because he was a superstar. And he has been elevated. And Roman does this better than anybody else. He is able to elevate talent. He did it to Jey Uso. He turned Jey Uso from just another guy into main event Jey Uso. And he's done it with Jacob. And I'm looking forward to the match, but I can't see a finish either way. I have no idea where they're going to go with this, which is cool, man. I think that's really cool that I have no idea what's going to happen and that I can see both outcomes being a possibility.
Yeah, I'm the same. I don't know where I sit on this one. But you talk about Jacob having the odds stacked against him and having no friends. Jacob called for the match. If this was a one-on-one wrestling match,
it's crazy.
He's not crazy. He's competent and he's wild and he's dangerous and he's with no rules. It's Roman that's in trouble, despite the Usos, because as Court pointed out, it took the three of them to take the man down. Now, I think a Jacob Fatu can take out a Roman and he can take out the Usos, which leads to the question: why would he not be world champion? If there's no way that this champ can take down Jacob Fatu one-on-one, how on earth does he defeat him? How on earth does Roman keep this strap around his waist? Now, the first couple of pay-per-views after WrestleMania generally are softballs for world champions, right? A Backlash and a Judgment Day, it's like a good talent, but not someone who's a genuine threat. You put Jacob Fatu in a street fight, in a real world fight with anyone on the roster. I'm sure there are some guys that could go toe to toe with Jacob, but he just seems like the guy who would just decimate you. So it wouldn't surprise me if we get this shocking title change. It also wouldn't surprise me if Tribal Combat works against Jacob Fatu. I think that's the most likely outcome, but I still think we might see Jacob walk away with the championship by the end of this feud.
Do you know what? And just thinking about this, guys, and obviously we have no idea, and we're going to talk about Oba and Brock shortly, I'm sure, but just imagine if Jacob Fatu beats Roman and Oba beats Brock, and then Jacob Fatu answers Oba's open challenge on Monday Night Raw. But yeah, look, I don't know, man. You've got me believing. But yeah, I just it's great that we have no idea, right?
Yeah.
I think that's a really, really good thing, that this is really hard to predict.
Yeah.
Now, we do have Rhea versus Jade for the women's championship. We've got Cody versus Gunther for the men's championship. I'm not sure how much you want to deep dive into either of these. I'm also on the fence with Rhea and Jade. I think that can go either way.
Same.
I think Cody's going to retain. I think we're going to see Cody retain through SummerSlam, and Gunther is going to go on to something else without the championship. Yeah, I really do. That's my take. You're different? You think Gunther's going to take it?
I just don't think you can have Gunther lose until he's ready to make someone. Like, given what he's done, like they've built him up to this point. And I'm just trying to think of the heels on SmackDown that could work with Cody. There's not a lot, you know? So like that's sort of where I'm at. I get it. I don't know if that's a lay down Mazir, to be honest. And I wonder if a certain Sami Zayn's going to be involved in the outcome of this match. So
good point.
I mean, Sami is the heel that you could have worked with Cody through to SummerSlam, potentially fighting for a world title, but I don't know a lot of people want to see that. You know, whereas you could elevate Trick Williams pretty quickly into a world title program with Gunther, or a Carmelo Hayes, or someone like that. So maybe he's not ready, but yeah, like I don't know if this is laid down here, because I don't think Gunther should be losing until he's ready to make someone.
Yeah, I get that point. I don't mind the idea of Sami and Cody working together for a couple of months and without the championship. So maybe you're onto something here. Maybe we will see Sami costing Cody the title. And then those two go off onto something else. Cody's out of the championship picture. And Rhea and Jade, are you much the same? Miss Rhea Ripley shirt as you're wearing it right now. You and of course our mate Haven. Do you think Rhea's taking this one? Are you on the fence? And where are you with Cody and Gunther?
Yeah, I'm on the fence with Rhea and Jade. I feel like WWE's put a lot of force back into Jade to make her feel like that believable force that can take down Rhea Ripley. We just saw her get pinned in the 6-woman tag at Saturday night's main event, and so anything is possible. Just need a couple of days to kind of sit and think about how I feel about it and how that feud's going to continue on, and if it's going to continue on after Clash with those two. I'm very much agreeing with a lot of what Brad has said about Gunther. What do you do with Gunther if he loses to Cody? Because you've already put him in this box of him being the legend, the career killer, basically. And he's got nobody's career to kill right now. And then you put him up against somebody like a Cody, and can you really have him lose to Cody Rhodes? Like, where does he go? And I think this is probably echoing a lot of the same conversation that you might have had, Brad, this time last year about Jacob Fatu. But I think for somebody like a Gunther, they've pushed him so heavily in the last 12 months, and he's gained a lot of momentum. He's gained a lot of heat as being this really nasty heel that he has go away heat. My biggest question is just, what do you do with him if he loses?
Yeah.
And what do you do with him if he wins as well?
Yeah, you both make perfect sense from a booking perspective. Here's the problem. This is a company that needs a figurehead at the top walking into a studio on a talk show with the championship. And Gunther's good, but Cody Rhodes has got the gift of the gab. He's got some history behind him. And I think, unfortunately, for the likes of a Gunther and maybe anyone else that comes up against a Cody Rhodes, that has to factor into the equation for WWE and TKO, surely.
Well, it depends, like, when's Randy coming back? And the problem they have with Randy come back is he's a babyface. It doesn't matter what he does. He could murder Cody Rhodes on national television.
Well, he nearly did.
And people would still sing his song and cheer for him as he's coming down the aisle. So, with that being said, you could pivot into Randy and Gunther for the title and at a SummerSlam potentially if that's where you wanted to go. But even then, Randy shouldn't be the person that gets the win. So I'm with Core. I just struggle to see why you build someone up. And I get what you're saying, Dion. I 100% get what you're saying in terms of face of the company. But sometimes for the best direction of your company and the stories that you've been telling me for the last 12 months, you need it to make sense.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I start to lose faith.
Of course, and here's where it also would make sense. Gunther wins the title, and now all of a sudden he has the ability to say to people, well, you can have a shot at my title, but I need a shot at your career. So that makes perfect sense. And we certainly will see that in the future. Whether we see it now, we'll find out in a week.
And I've just said about Gunther needs to make someone. I think that person he makes is Royce Keys.
Yeah,
I worry for Royce Keys, man. That's for another episode, but I really worry for Royce Keys. I'm not sure that this is going to go anywhere. Try as they might. But hey, Oba versus Brock 2. Oba versus Brock 2.
What life are we living? What's happened, man? Are we in a fantasy universe?
We might be. We're in a simulation, Brad.
Did they suck us in or what?
I didn't believe it from the start. I'm telling you this now. I didn't.
Yeah.
I saw that at WrestleMania, and in my live watch along, I said, guys, give it 4 to 6 weeks. He'll be back.
It'd be so interesting to know, wouldn't it, if it was all a work from the start, or if they were like, hey, Brock, so we know you went into business for yourself and did this whole thing. What if, hey, guys, we've just gotten rid of 24, 25 other talent. We've got a little bit more money in the coffers. What if... That is possible. I hope that's not what happens, but I'm sure. Hey, I'm not nasty. It's TKO.
What the heck, man?
Yeah.
He's going up against Brock Lesnar, though, not Brock Lesnar.
Yes, Brock Lesnar. What was the word that he said?
Do you think that was a mistake that he made in terms of what he said, or do you think he's being
serious? I think he thought of the second word after that, and I can't remember what it was. Oh, signature. Because he said he's after Brock Lesnar's signature, or Brock Lesnar. So I think he just tripped over that word.
Yeah.
Brock Lesnar. To be fair, that man trips over no
There'll be
words.
someone in the crowd. There'll be someone in the crowd in Italy with a Brock Lesnar sign.
Go Brock Lesnar. Do you know what? Yeah. What is interesting is who wins. Is this going to become a best of 3 series? Lesnar picks it up, or does that? I don't know if losing to Brock Lesnar derails Obafemi. You'd think he would have a clear run, like Goldberg 174-0 from here, but I can see Lesnar taking this and then them having the golden match in wherever, whenever for Oba Brock 3, which I think everyone would be into. A lot of people would be into. Not everyone's happy Brock Lesnar has returned.
I don't hate it, but I'm a big MMA fan, and truth sometimes gets blurred with reality, right? And so, or the lie gets blurred with reality. And Obafemi dominated Brock Lesnar, like it was like a Mike Tyson beatdown, like first round knockout. And in fight sports, styles make fights, and it's very hard to turn around that sort of talent gap, right? But this is pro wrestling, so throw that all out, right? But it's really hard to suspend your disbelief when Obafemi on the biggest stage in wrestling steamrolls Brock Lesnar, and then somehow Brock comes back 6 weeks later with the element of surprise, but then somehow turns that into
He's been training. He's been training, Brad, eating his eggs, eating his steak. He probably did the prayers, the training, the vitamins. So a lot can happen in 6 weeks.
I think Raw's going to be interesting, right, to see where they go to help tell the story, and I think that'll give us a pretty strong indication where they're going. But maybe, just maybe, Brock Oba gets another quick win, and then Brock comes out on Raw and says, I know I can beat you. Give me one more chance. I'll put my career on the line in Minnesota at SummerSlam. That's the only. You can't have Oba lose clean to Brock. Like maybe some skullduggery potentially, but or maybe Oba gets so frustrated in the match that he loses by DQ by hitting Brock with like ring bells and chairs and all that sort of stuff. But I think the best story to tell here is Brock has met the beast that he can't conquer, and Oba beats him again. Maybe it takes a little like a couple of finishes to do it this time instead of one. And he gets the win, and then and then a defeated Brock Lesnar comes out the next night on Raw and says, I know I can beat you. I've beaten everybody in this business. Give me one more chance. I'll put my career on the line. I'll write it in a contract in my hometown in front of my family and my friends and 70,000 people like Minnesotans. I'll put my career, and that's your main event for night one of SummerSlam.
I like it. Yeah. So, Court, despite the fact that apparently you weren't worked, Brad and I were worked. You weren't worked. You weren't worked. Were you still surprised that he showed up on Raw? Did your jaw drop, or you're like, well, I was expecting this?
I was kind of like, okay, cool. You came earlier than I was expecting. when you order a package online and it says like estimated delivery date is like X time whenever. He came earlier. It must have been expedited post or something. I'm quite indifferent about Brock. I've kind of never really gelled with him. I think it's due to when he was champion and you kind of would never see him, and then obviously you have moments where he comes around and then he leaves again, and then obviously we all know what happened with Kofi Kingston. I feel like I can't really look past that. Intrigued as to where they go from here, but as Brad has said, I can't see a world in which it does Obafemi any benefit for him to lose to Brock in this way. I feel like he needs to look into this situation and actually realize that there is worth someone putting over in this, and that is Oba. There has been some conversations, I don't know if there is much merit to this, that obviously he might have gone into business with a couple of people at WrestleMania in terms of putting out that retirement, and then TKO were going to sue him based on his contract. I don't know how much merit that has, but that has been conversation as to why we are seeing Brock back. Maybe he needs to finish out the terms of his contract. I don't know where that stands. That's just some context to the situation, maybe why we're seeing him back. But it did feel very like definite when he had finished up at WrestleMania, right? Like everyone in the arena was chanting, don't go.
Don't you feel they would have cut away, Dion, if this wasn't part of the script at Mania? Like they could have just cut away. Right.
Yeah. Look, absolutely.
And potentially the TKO. And I read those TKO stuff, and I wonder if that was just planted.
Oh, like everything's a work, Brad. We know that, right? It's just the lines are blurred now more than they've ever been.
Shapiro was on a conference call last week, and he talked about the Ronda Rousey fight and a lot of other things, and that wasn't even brought up by anyone. So, like, I'm sure if a real journalist actually had that, and not a Dave Meltzer or a Sean Rossap, then maybe like there would have been legs to it. But yeah, I feel like that may have been planted. I just don't know, like. I was worked superbly, and I just don't know if the way that everything's played out since that TKO or WWE hasn't run away from the Brock Lesnar thing. In fact, they embraced it with.
Yeah, there was a video package like the week after.
Yeah, they did all that work to not only give him video packages, but they moved him to the alumni section. They moved him to the forever part of the intro.
Yeah, it's a work.
I don't know.
It's all a work.
We just don't know what to believe these days. And I think maybe that's the best place to be is we don't know what's going on and we don't know everything. It's kind of just in the middle and just seeing how it turns out.
Yeah. So Monday, June 1, 6 a.m. New Zealand time. Imagine being an Australian, 4 a.m. over there on the East Coast. The Intercontinental Championship up for grabs, as we know. Becky Lynch, Sol Ruka. Great point, Brad. Hopefully we see Julia on that card. I'm sure there's going to be some supporting house shows in Europe at the time. Surely she's on the tour. We will get our eyes around it. Maybe we'll discuss it next week, potentially, maybe the week after. We'll see how things pan out. But before we close, I want us to have a quick chat about AEW. Double or Nothing is Monday, May 25, 12 p.m. New Zealand time. You can watch on payperview.com or myaew.com if you're going the legitimate route, which we would strongly encourage. Now, AEW, dudes, they are on fire. They are in such a hot place at the moment. And if you're looking for an alternative to WWE, if you're sick of the ads, if you're got a sour taste in your mouth from talent being asked to take a 50% pay cut, I strongly encourage you to check out AEW. Like any company, they go through peaks and troughs. They've been through a trough. They're coming out the peak right now. There was an MJF interview. I'm not sure if you both caught this with Ariel Helwani. Excellent interview. MJF, of course, has his MJF face on, but there were parts of that interview where you got a bit of a glimpse of the human behind MJF, and I'm going to be honest, I really like what I heard with some of the things that they talked about. So Double or Nothing, 2026. Here's my other gripe. I had a gripe about Saturday night's main event. Here's my other gripe about Double or Nothing. I was at Double or Nothing in 2022. Tony Khan comes out, thanks Las Vegas and says Double or Nothing will be in Las Vegas, and I quote, forever! Until WWE come to Las Vegas and then kick them out of town. Look, regardless, I don't care where it is because I'm going to be watching on TV. This is a great card. Darby Allin and MJF, title versus here. We've also got FTR against Copen Cage. We've got John Moxley and Kyle O'Reilly. Konosuke Takeshita and Okada are battling. We've also got Bandito and Swerve Strickland. Who is
Samoa Joe and Will Ospreay?
Thank you, Samoa Joe, Will Ospreay. It's a stacked card. They've got Stadium Stampede. So if you haven't given AEW a go for quite some time, I strongly recommend you kick off with Double or Nothing and see where it takes you from there. You might take to it again, you might not, but give them a go. Are you guys going to get behind this one?
Just a couple recommendations. Check out Megan Bain on the pre-show. She is amazing. She is a cross between sort of China and Tiffany Stratton, like in terms of like she's just a very intimidating person, but she's gorgeous and has a great look. I think she's a potential superstar. And there's just a few matches that are just there for me. They're in part of the Owen Hart tournament. And Moxley versus Kyle O'Reilly, I'll give or take. MJF needs to win the title back. Darby Allin's had some great matches, some banging matches, but he's just not a world champion for me. He fits in the Hangman Page bracket, and MJF's the biggest star they've got. In fact, I think MJF can turn the tide in AEW's favor, given how good he is. Bandito versus Swerve Strickland, guys, that is gonna slap. So if you're going to watch any match this week, there's two I will point out to you. One is Bandito and Swerve Strickland, and the other is Samoa Joe and Will Ospreay, both in the Owen Hart Memorial Tournament. I think Double or Nothing has the potential to be great. And hopefully, Cope and Christian win the tag team titles and become, I think they're regarded one of the greatest tag teams of all time anyway. And I think, winning those AEW tag team titles will just be another notch on that belt.
And you mentioned, wanting MJF to win because when he's on top, they do great business and they certainly do. Just ask him and he'll certainly tell you.
But I mean, the business, like their ratings have dropped since he lost the title, despite the fact that Darby Allin has had 6 or 7 of the best matches of the year. People tune in to watch MJF, and I do. Like, I'll watch any MJF segment because he's so good, and he's a great wrestler too. So, I think he wins the title because I can't see him losing that gorgeous hair that he possesses.
Those luscious locks, as some would
Luscious,
say.
Yeah. There was a great segment to kick off Dynamite a couple of weeks back where MJF walks into the building and every single person he passes is bald. There must have been 30 bald dudes. There was is it a flock of bald men? Is it called a flock or is it a murder? I shouldn't call it a murder of bald men. That sounds terrible. Maybe it's a flock or a conglomeration or a whatever. There were lots of different pockets of bald men, and it was hilarious. It was such a good bit. So I'm checking out Double or Nothing. Strongly urge that you do as well. Okay, folks. Saturday night's main event is done. Clash in Italy is coming up. The wheels keep on turning. So much wrestling to watch and get our heads around. Thank you so much for joining us this week, and we'll see you again next week. Until then, have a good one.